details today in the grisly murders of a local family found earlier this week.
Now!
Hey, Deputy So-and-so.
Listen, I'm sorry to get back to you so late in the day. I couldn't make the call from the office.
In the early 2010s, horror changed. Blumhouse was on the rise, and two films, Sinister and Insidious, hit like seismic shocks. They weren't just scary. They were memorable. They lingered. They launched franchises. And most importantly, they reminded audiences that horror didn't need a high budget to be deeply unsettling. But here's the thing. Sinister and Insidious might live in the same haunted house subgenre, but they are radically different in how they approach fear. So today, we're putting them side by side, unpacking their structures, themes, and scares to figure out what makes each of them work and which one might haunt you longer. This is Sinister vs. Insidious. Let's begin with the surface. Sinister opens with a single shot, a grainy Super 8 film showing an entire family being hanged from a tree. No sound, no explanation. Just a quiet, horrifying image that tells you everything and nothing. Insidious, meanwhile, opens with a montage of eerie rooms and flickering lights, building into a loud, jarring sting as the title slams into view. It's dramatic, theatrical, and doesn't pretend to be subtle. Right from the first minute, these films are setting expectations. Sinister is going to simmer. Insidious is going to scream. Both are about families tormented by a supernatural force. Both feature a child in peril. But while the bones of the story might be similar, the flesh is entirely different.
Holy shit.
Tone is where these movies truly part ways. Sinister, directed by Scott Derrickson, is steeped in dread. The color grading is sickly, washed out. The house feels cold, almost rotting from within. Even when it's silent, and it's often very silent, you never feel safe. The silence becomes a threat. It's a film that forces you to wait. Wait for the projector to start. Wait for the shadows to move. Wait for evil to arrive. Insidious, directed by James Wan, thrives on rhythm. The pace is quicker, the colors sharper, the scares sudden and jarring. It's a ghost story told like a haunted house ride. Wild camera moves, aggressive sound design, and monsters that don't hide in the shadows, they pose in them. While Sinister burrows into your subconscious, Insidious constantly jolts you awake.
Sweetheart, what are you doing?
Painting. I wanted to paint her picture.
Who are you talking about?
Stephanie. She used to live here.
I can still hear that voice.
What?
Both films start from a familiar place, a family, a house, a disturbance. But what they do with that setup is radically different. Sinister is a downward spiral. We follow Ellison Oswalt, a fading true crime author desperate for a comeback. He finds old Super 8 reels showing brutal family murders, and instead of running, he dives deeper, obsessed with solving the mystery. The story traps you with him. There are no demonologists, no exorcisms, no cavalry coming to save the day. It's just Ellison, the house, and an evil that's already won. Insidious evolves into something bigger. It starts traditionally, haunted rooms, strange noises, but then blows the doors off reality. The haunting isn't tied to a house. It's tied to the astral plane, to Dalton's ability to travel while he sleeps. The second half leaves behind traditional ghost story rules and becomes a surreal battle across dimensions. While Sinister tightens its noose, Insidious explodes outward into myth.
Bagul. He consumes the souls of human children.
At their core, these films are about very different human fears. Sinister is about ambition and denial. Ellison knowingly risks his family's safety because he's hungry for success. He doesn't move them into a haunted house by accident. He chooses to. Bughul doesn't manipulate Ellison through violence. He manipulates him through vanity. It's a tragedy about self-destruction. Insidious is about protection and trauma. Josh and Renai Lambert aren't chasing anything selfish. They're trying to save their son. Josh's refusal to confront his own repressed past endangers Dalton, but the story is ultimately one of redemption. It's about facing your childhood fears, your inherited traumas, and fighting for the next generation. Sinister punishes selfishness. Insidious rewards bravery.
Never been onto something this big before.
Early Christians believed that Bughul actually lived in the images themselves and that they were gateways into his realm.
Okay, he's okay.
Please, please help him, please.
The scares themselves reveal each film's philosophy. Sinister specializes in restraint. The murder reel's silent, grainy, eerily mundane are among the most effective horror sequences of the decade. The fear builds from suggestion, from what isn't shown, from the empty spaces between the frames. The home movies are cold and detached. No dramatic music, no flashy edits, just evil, calmly documented, as if the murders are as ordinary as a family vacation. The sound design throughout Sinister is disturbingly minimal. You're often left with just the creak of the house, the hum of the projector, and your own imagination filling in the blanks. That space between what you see and what you feel is where the terror lives. Insidious chooses the opposite path. It's bold, fast, and visceral. Scares erupt without warning. The infamous red-faced demon appearing behind Patrick Wilson's character, a ghost child dancing through hallways, sudden loud crashes that jolt the audience before their brain can catch up. It doesn't leave gaps for your imagination. It floods your senses. The further, the astral realm in Insidious, is pure nightmare fuel, a fog-shrouded void filled with frozen spirits and impossibly still tableau. It takes dream logic and applies it to horror, crafting a landscape that feels wrong at a gut level. In short, Sinister attacks your mind. Insidious attacks your nerves.
There was something in there with him.
The endings bring the final, brutal punctuation to everything the films build toward. Sinister offers no mercy. Ellison thinks he's escaping the nightmare by moving his family away, but it's already too late. The pattern has repeated. The final, chilling image, Bughul claims his next victim, and the cycle begins again. There's no exorcism, no heroics, just doom, inevitable and inescapable. Insidious ends on a darker twist. Dalton is rescued from the further, seemingly safe and sound. But when Josh returns, something isn't right. The final reveal that Josh has brought something evil back into the real world turns the ending into a final scream of horror just before the credits roll. It's a more ambiguous finish, designed to leave you rattled and excited for more. And in terms of impact, both endings mirror their legacies. Insidious exploded into a full-fledged franchise, with sequels and prequels expanding its mythology. Sinister, while hugely successful, had a single sequel, and it struggled to recapture the original's suffocating dread. Still, ask any horror fan, those grainy Super 8 reels from Sinister, they're burned into memory. Proof that sometimes simplicity is the most terrifying weapon. So which kind of horror lingers longer? The cold, creeping inevitability of Sinister, where evil patiently waits for you to self-destruct? Or the explosive, chaotic terror of Insidious, where monsters lurk in every shadow, and even your dreams aren't safe? Both films understand fear. Both films master it. But they tap into different fears. One makes you dread the long, slow decline. The other makes you fear what's just around the corner. Either way, you're not walking away untouched.
exposed to the images were especially vulnerable to Bagul's abduction.
I don't think bad wiring is the problem here.
Thanks for watching. If you love deep horror analysis, breakdowns, and exploring what truly makes films terrifying, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss an upload. Now I want to hear from you. Which movie haunted you more, Sinister or Insidious? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, stay scared, stay curious, and whatever you do, don't look away.
It's not the house that's haunted. It's your son.